I never intended to desecrate an ancient tomb. But when you're a relic hunter with debts piling higher than the Himalayas, intent is a luxury. The stories said the blade of Cerynth lay buried in the Whispering Vale, within a tomb untouched for centuries. They also said it was cursed, but debts don't care about curses. I found the entrance half buried beneath moss and ivy, a yawning mouth of stone framed by two weather-worn statues of warriors. With every step into the darkness, the air thickened. It wasn't just dust or decay. I felt eyes on me, ancient and heavy. Still, the thought of gold outweighed the crawling chill on my skin. Deeper in, I reached a circular chamber. At its center stood a sarcophagus, carved from black stone, and embedded in its lid was the blade. Even after centuries, the steel gleamed like moonlight, the hilt wrapped in leather as pristine as if it had been forged yesterday. I stepped forward, heart pounding. My fingers wrapped around the hilt. The moment I tugged, the ground trembled. The blade slid free with a sound like a sigh, and then the world exploded. A wind roared through the tomb, spinning dust and light into a cyclone. Shapes flickered in the storm, faces, spirits maybe, shrieking in forgotten tongues. Then I heard her. "Who dares take the blade of Cerynth?" Her voice rang like a bell through the storm, commanding and furious. I tried to run, but a force pinned me in place. The cyclone stopped abruptly, and in its wake stood a woman. No, not a woman. A spirit, perhaps, or something far older. She wore silver armor that shimmered like starlight, and her hair, raven black, flowed as if underwater. Her eyes, deep violet, glowed with an inner fire. She was beautiful and terrible all at once. I'm sorry, I stammered. I didn't mean. "You drew the blade," she said, stalking toward me. "Did you even know what that meant?" "I just wanted to sell it, maybe." She stopped inches from me, frowning. "Fool. By ancient law, only one worthy may draw the blade. And by drawing it, you have invoked the right of union." What union?" She sighed, deeply exasperated, like a teacher dealing with an especially dim student. "Marriage. By our customs, the one who draws the blade from my ancestor's tomb becomes my betrothed." I stared. "You can't be serious." "I'm dead serious," she replied, crossing her arms. "I am Lady Elenara of House Cerynth. And by law older than any kingdom you know, you and I are now bound." My brain flatlined. This was beyond debt or curses. I'd just accidentally gotten engaged to an ancient warrior princess. "There must be some way out of this," I pleaded. "There is not," Elenara said. "The bond is sealed by the blade you hold." She stepped forward again, and I flinched, expecting a slap or a sword through the gut. Instead, she placed her hand on my chest. A warmth spread from her palm, sinking into my bones. Strange symbols glowed briefly on my skin before fading. "What was that?" I asked, panic rising. "The marriage mark," she said coolly. "It links us until death. Yours or mine." I nearly fainted. "You're joking." "I do not joke." I sat on the tomb floor, head in my hands. What was I supposed to do? Go back to my life and explain to my landlord that I was now supernaturally married to a ghost? But Elenara knelt beside me. For the first time, her expression softened. "You did not know," she said quietly. "You are not of my time. This is unfair to you." I looked up at her. "You think?" She chuckled softly. "You have spirit, at least. That is something." We sat in silence for a moment before she stood. "Come. If we are bound, we might as well see where this world of yours has gone." Leaving the tomb was easier than entering. With Elenara walking beside me, the oppressive aura dissipated like morning mist. Outside, the sun was rising, casting gold across the valley. Elenara paused, staring at the sky. "It is different," she murmured. "Your sun feels brighter. Or perhaps I had merely forgotten." "What will you do now?" I asked. She turned to me, a ghost of a smile on her lips. "Learn. This is my world now, too. And as my husband," she said the word with mild amusement, "you are responsible for teaching me." I groaned. Fantastic. Weeks passed. Life didn't get easier. It got weirder. Elenara insisted on living with me. My tiny apartment became a bizarre blend of ancient grandeur and modern squalor. She stood out in the city like a sapphire in a sea of grey, her beauty and presence undeniable. People stared, some even tried to flirt with her, until she leveled them with a glare that could freeze fire. I learned things about her, too. She was a formidable warrior, yes, but also curious, hungry to know the world she'd woken into. She devoured books, learned to use the internet, though she loathed smartphones, and had a peculiar fondness for pizza. Yet, at night, I'd catch her gazing out the window, eyes distant. "Do you miss your time?" I asked once. She nodded. "Every day. But bonds are bonds. I'm yours now." Something in my chest tightened when she said that. And against all sense, I grew to like her company. She was blunt but honest, proud but fair. I stopped thinking of her as a ghostly burden and more as, well, a partner. Then came the day that changed everything. I was walking home from work when I was cornered by some of the men I owed money to, violent men who didn't care about my ancient bride situation. One of them raised a knife. I braced for pain. But before the blade could fall, there was a flash of silver, and Elenara was there. She moved like lightning, the ancient blade singing in her hand. In mere seconds, the thugs lay groaning on the ground, too terrified to run. She turned to me, eyes blazing. "You are mine," she said fiercely. "No one touches what is mine." Something in that possessiveness stirred a feeling I couldn't deny. Gratitude. Admiration. And yes, affection. "Thanks," I said breathlessly. "You're amazing." She sheathed the blade and stepped close. "You should stop getting yourself into trouble." "Yeah," I chuckled. "I'll work on that." Her gaze softened, and for the first time, she touched my cheek, not as a formality, but with genuine care. "Perhaps," she whispered, "this union is not such a curse after all." I smiled, my heart beating a little too fast. Maybe not. Months later, people still whispered about the beautiful woman who never aged, the sword at her hip, and the man by her side. But I didn't care about the whispers anymore. She wasn't just a bride by ancient law, she was my partner, my protector, and, somewhere along the way, my friend. Maybe even more. After all, when destiny ties a blade, and a heart, into your life, you might as well see where it leads. And with Elenara, I was ready for anything.